Right, kia ora, Year 13s, whatever time you're watching this video. I'll just probably do this and then I'll take a break and talk to you guys over your exercise before I come back to YED. If you want more videos, then you need to ask. So, cross elasticity of demand, XED, this is looking at the relationship between different goods going back to demand, complements and substitutes. So, if you get a bit confused with these numbers and stuff, cross elasticity of demand, XED, is just about complements or substitutes. So, here we go, the wording. So I have talked to you about like being precise with your technical, it's quite a technical course at level 3. So responsive, like this word, really like to hear you using it. The quantity demanded of one good is to a change in the price of another. So what happens to the quantity demanded of one good when the price of another changes? And I think you know I like burger fuel, and I'm kind of really looking forward to next week when perhaps I can order some. So if they were to foolishly increase their price, maybe or not, what would happen to, not Pizza Hut, I wanted Hell Pizza. Why does it say Pizza Hut? Should be Hell Pizza. But anyway, you get my point. Sounds familiar. I don't know why I wrote that. So basically, we're looking at whether they're a complement or they're a substitute. So just a little bit of a recap for you. Complement. So this is my really shoddy drawing. Sorry, I'm using the whiteboard function on my laptop, but this is the best I can do. Its complement is when you consume something with another good, and it's the reason we do cross elasticity of demand is it's not always apparent that you have a complementary relationship, that two goods could be complements, and using XED and elasticity can help you understand when you do have a complementary relationship. They have a negative relationship, and if you look here, so I'm saying that if burger fuel were to decrease the price of the burgers, that would be nice. There we go, a decrease in price. The quantity demanded of the burgers would increase. Okay, that's what it's showing you there. But if this was the spud fries, which a lot of us like to consume with the burgers, okay, don't judge, then we could expect the demand for the fries to increase, even though there's been no change in price, because we consume the fries with the burger. So if we're having more burgers, we're going to have more fries. Right, and that's basically just what we're showing you here. And of course, not everybody would consume fries with burgers, but a lot of people do, and that's why you see them bundled together, you know, like meal deals. So that's what a complement means. But just the big thing that I want you to understand with elasticity is that, especially for businesses, and this is a really good topic for business studies and marketing, is it's not always apparent to you when you have a complementary relationship going with, say, goods that you sell. And so this can get you to look at your sales and changes in prices that you've been made, and you can, I didn't realize they're complements. So yeah, the other one is a substitute, and it's any good that can be used instead of another. So this is really wide. We often think about like, butter and margarine, but actually think about different brands of a product. So different coffee brands, whether if you like the plunger coffee or your espresso, you've got Cafe La Fara, you've got Havana, you've got Hummingbird, you've got heaps of different coffee brands, and so they're all substitutes for one another because they can all be replaced. I mean, some people are quite loyal to their brand, like the People's Coffee or whatever, but for a lot of people, they just go with what's on special type thing. So they have a positive relationship, and you can see this here that, for example, if Cafe La Fara were to increase their price, the quantity demanded of their Cafe La Fara branded coffee would fall, whereas the sales or the demand for Havana would increase while their price remains constant. Okay, so that's price is going up, the demand is going up for the goods. So it's called a positive relationship. And again, I put Hell Pizza here and Burger Food because I'm obsessed and want one. If they increase the price of their burgers, then Hell Pizza should be able to see the sales of their pizza increasing, right? But just note when I talk about technicality and being precise with your writing, particularly level 3, if they increase the price, the quantity demanded of their burgers will decrease, but the demand for Hell Pizza will increase. All right, so just remember the difference between QD and demand. All right, and of course, this again assumes that you don't care. You either want pizza or burger. You don't mind either way. Okay, you're not like only a burger person. And again, a lot of generalities here, but it's just kind of looking at like maybe how pizzas, like why are our pizzas, we're selling so many pizzas, what's going on? You know, it's not this COVID situation, they just can't understand it. And then they're like, Burger Fuel increased their price. That's what it is. So it's helping businesses to understand what's happening to their revenue and their sales when they're not aware perhaps that they might have a substitute relationship with, say, another company down the road or something, or, you know, they may not be aware what Burger Fuel's done and then they go and investigate. All right, so again, apologise for the dodgy drawings, but working with a funny whiteboard. All right, so how do you calculate it? You can see this formula looks very familiar, okay? So the percentage change, we prefer to use the midpoint, but you can use percentage change. You can see here, okay, there are, there's four lots of different formulas you've got to remember eventually by the end of this, but you can see that the quantity demanded is always on top. There's the numerator, correct me if I'm wrong. All right, so the quantity demanded is always on top and the price is always on the bottom, and that doesn't change. When we look at something called income will be on the bottom, but quantity demanded will be on the top. So what we've got here is basically both these scenarios, midpoint or percentage change. We're looking at the change in quantity demanded of good A, say Hal Pizza, in relation to the price change of another good B, or it might be burger fuel. And you can see here, here's the midpoint formula. And remember that if we look in a demand curve, this is between the 2 points, all right? It's between like 2 different points, which is what we're looking at here. It's just a little bit more precise, all right? But change in quantity demanded of good A, or the Hal Pizza, in relation to the price change of another good, say the burger fuel in my example. Well, it could be the coffee. If you like coffee, I like coffee. I'm having one now. So coefficients are kind of a lot more simpler here. There's only 2 things to remember. If you get a positive number, so when we look at this here, the negative does actually matter. So it does matter whether quantity demanded, for example, increases or decreases, or whether the price change is up or down. That does matter. So you do need to be careful with that. All right, so the negative is really important. Make sure that you do put it in and you do take note of what the result is. If it's negative, you have a complementary relationship. And that makes sense because complements have a negative relationship. All right, price of one goes up, the quantity demanded of the other falls. Okay, so that's negative. Whereas substitutes have a positive relationship, so therefore the XED is positive. So you're just looking for any number that doesn't have a negative, right? But you can see 0.2 is quite low. So it's kind of saying, well, they could be weak substitutes. So something to remember is that if you're here, you're going, they're not substitutes, then probably they're not. Just like the maths is kind of like saying, well, mathematically, according to the theory, they're substitutes, but that doesn't mean they are, okay? So it's just like, okay, sometimes there is no relationship, even despite the fact that the maths is saying there is, okay? And that what I'm saying about the number there is how strong it is. So if you can see if it's like 3.6, then that would be indicating that there's quite a strong relationship. So I would guess that burger fuel and Hal Pizza would be somewhere between like 1.5 to somewhere like 3. And the more easily you can substitute it, so maybe like Coca-Cola and Pepsi, maybe a bit of a controversial topic with you, perhaps they would be in the high 3s, because for a lot of people there's a really strong substitution relationship there. Complements, I'm thinking like a coffee and like a cupcake or a muffin, like they're really, or a nice little Danish pastry, they're the really strong complementary relationship. So I'd expect it to be somewhere around here. Whereas if you've got something else, like, I don't know, I can't really think of something simple right now. Printer cartridges and printers, like they are complements, but it's not like a really strong relationship. So yeah, they do go together, and the sales can be affected when the price of one changes, but not like incredibly strong. The demand's not going to increase massively, is what I'm saying here, or decrease massively. So let's have a look at some maths before I come back to you guys to do my live briefing for my class today. So I love my burger fuel, sorry, I had to go there. And I did the Dunchase jelly because I know it's close to you guys, or it's close to school at least, so you might be familiar with it. So we've got 2 different examples here, and I'm just going to work it through with you and show you the working. At this point, you might want to pause the video and have a go yourself. Okay, pause the video and have a go yourself. So we'll start with burger fuel, all right? And here's the information. So they've increased the price of their burgers. Imagine, I know that they've got different burgers, so I kind of like going for the average value. And then, Hal Pizza notices that the sales of pizzas increase. I've totally made this up, all right? It's totally made up. Please don't take these as actual numbers. So start with your formula. I was like posted in like that. And then the big thing with the midpoint formula is to show all your working. So I kind of break it down with the quantity change here. All right, and by the way, if I've made a mistake with my maths, fine, let me know and I'll change it. But I'm pretty sure I'm correct on this, okay? You kind of know, because if the number you're getting is what you think, yeah, I think they're substitutes, then yeah, the maths must be about right, okay? So here is my quantity data that I'm plotting in, and just take care of the brackets. I do get a little bit lazy when I'm just doing it on paper, but do take care of the brackets to make sure you're following in the right order, bed maths and all that. So do this first, then divide the answer of this by 2, and then divide that by that. Okay, this is the price change. Again, do this first and then divide the answer of that by that, and then divide that by that. So, work it through. Okay, and then you'll get 10,000 divided by 30,000 for the quantity change, and then 3 divided by 13.5 for the price change, and that ends up with that, and that equals 1.5, and then yeah, that is kind of where I would think it would be. They should be substitutes. They are, according to this, not like really strong, but reasonably. Okay, so we have a substitute relationship. Burger Fuel should be careful because, like if they're going to be increasing their prices, they need to be aware that there is substitutes for their product, and so they can expect not only the sales of their burgers to fall, but they can expect the competition to get an increase in sales as well. So we're going to go over marketing at the end, but this is, like I said, really good information if you're doing business studies, particularly when you're not aware that you might have a substitute for your product or a strong one, or you're not really aware of how strong that relationship is. Okay, so the other example is Dunshay's Deli. Totally made this up again. This is not, it's not true. Please don't go and whenever they're open and tell them, okay, I'm just making up example, keeping it relatable. All right, so it's easier because it's percentage change, right? So way simpler. And you can kind of guess by looking at it. They increase the price of their coffees by 10% and the sales of their muffins decrease. So just looking at that, the price of the coffees went up and then the muffins decrease. What we're seeing here is a decrease in demand. So sales is where we talk about like quantity, the quantity of muffins decrease, but there's no talk about the price changing for muffins. It's just the coffee. So you can straight away just look at that and you can see that you have a complementary relationship. And same thing here, you can read this and go, that sounds like a substitute relationship. All right, so you can do that, but we're just doing the maths to kind of look at, well, like how strong is that relationship? All right, so we plot in the numbers, again, quantity divided by the price, and you get negative 2.5. So remember, it does matter about the minus situation here. Okay, so the numerator divided by the denominator, this is negative, so therefore we get a negative number, and it complements, and reasonably strong, which goes with my feeling that I like to have something to eat with my coffee. All right, so basically what it's just saying is that Dunshay's as a business should just be aware that if they're going to change their products, it's going to affect the sales of other products that they sell, if people consider them to be complements. Okay, run through that really quickly because I'm now going to be doing a call with my class. Hope that's helpful. If there's something wrong with my maths or anything like that, feel free to let me know. Otherwise, yeah, good luck. Keep on with your learning. Okay, ka kite for now.